Gluten-free brownie cookies have the taste and texture of the world's best brownies, complete with crinkly, shiny tops and ultra fudgy centers. Make it and see for yourself what all the rave reviews are about. Hi, I'm Melissa Erdelak from the gluten-free website Mama Gourmand, and today we're going to make gluten-free brownie cookies. It is impossible to not love these cookies. They are the best part of a brownie in every single bite. If you want to feel like you're missing out on a recipe, just take a quick gander at all the comments on them. People go insane for them. And I also use an easy trick in this recipe to get rid of the grittiness that gluten-free cookies have a tendency to have. So let's make your gluten-free life a success and not a hot mess. The recipe starts off on the stove. We melt together the butter and the chocolate. To be honest, you could do this in the microwave as well, but I just like the control I have over the stove. I could keep the temperature nice and low. So we're gonna add 1/3 cup of butter and then a cup of chocolate chips. I'm using dark chocolate chips, but you can use semi-sweet as well. You'll notice that my butter is chopped up, and I do that just because it melts a little faster. Mix everything together until it's about 80 to 90% melted, and then at that point I turn off the heat so I don't risk overheating the chocolate, and I just let it finish melting with that residual heat, and you could keep stirring just occasionally and eventually it'll all smooth out. Then you're just going to set that aside for 5 minutes to let it cool slightly. Okay, so now we're gonna mix everything together with a mixer. We're gonna start off with our sugar and our eggs and our vanilla. You'll need 1/3 cup, if I could get this out of here, brown sugar, 1/4 cup of regular granulated sugar, then 2 eggs, and a teaspoon of vanilla. So just give that a quick minute to combine. And then we're gonna add our melted chocolate butter mixture. I set this aside for about 5 to 10 minutes so it cools, because when you add it, you don't want it to cook the eggs. Okay, and then we're just going to mix that again. To this mixture, we're gonna add 3/4 cup of gluten-free flour. I know that doesn't sound like a lot of flour, but brownies don't have a lot of flour in them. And then a teaspoon of baking powder. This is a little something different than brownies too. Usually uses baking soda, but we want more lift in these cookies, so I'm using baking powder. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I almost forgot the unsweetened cocoa. I also add this because it helps absorb all the moisture with the melted butter and melted chocolate. All right, now that everything's mixed together, we're going to add our final batch of chocolate chips. In cookies or in brownies, I like to use a mixture of regular chips and mini chips, because then the chocolate just gets absolutely everywhere, which is always a good thing. Now, typically with gluten-free cookies, I like to let the batter rest before they bake them. When I tried that with these cookies, the batter got way too thick and they didn't spread. So they were just kind of like big chocolate blobs instead of cookies. So that was a no-go. So what I did instead is I decided to try to bake them at a lower oven temperature, and that did the trick. Using a lower oven temperature doesn't affect how they rise in the oven. It just gives a little bit slightly longer bake time, which gives more time for the starches to absorb with the oils. And I found when testing them with a 350 oven versus a 325 oven, the 350 cookies were a little bit more dense and sticky, while these were just a little bit more melt in your mouth soft. So 325 is definitely the way to go. The other thing that I would recommend for this recipe is using one of these cookie scoops. Oh my gosh, this is my favorite tool ever. It makes it so much easier. You know all your cookies are the exact same size, and it makes it go so much faster. I am such a fan of salted anything, so I also like to sprinkle a little fleur de sal on these cookies. The cookies will bake for about 14 to 15 minutes. You're looking for the edges to be set and the tops to be set but crackly. You want to be careful not to over bake these cookies. Oh my gosh, the kitchen smells like straight up heaven right now. These things look amazing. I cannot wait to try them. They're a little too hot right now, but these are the perfect cookies. If you have people in your life that are like anti-gluten-free, make these cookies for them. Don't tell them that they're made with gluten-free flour and they will not be able to tell, I promise. You can find the full printable recipe for it in the description box below, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.